Oh hey, I just saw that new Disclosure Day movie by good old Steven Spielberg. I always set low expectations going into these reviews, but I couldn't help but get a little excited for this project. With its marketing campaign, trailer, the biggest director of all time supposedly formulating this movie for decades, as well as 42 drafts of this screenplay from legendary writer David Koepp. The scale and hype for Disclosure Day are titanic, and similar to a hubris-laden ship, this movie sinks. Disclosure Day is about Daniel, a government whistleblower, and Margaret, a news anchor, working together to try and expose a conspiracy about aliens, all while fighting against a branch of the government called Wardex. The only thing remarkable about Disclosure Day is its presentation. In the spirit of Steven Spielberg, it's impossible not to be in awe of the magnitude of what this movie's trying to pull off. The cinematography is great. The numerous shots that revolve around characters are a spectacle, some of which show off a methodical choreography and spacing, while also creating a dizzying effect that matches Disclosure Day's tension. The camera work borders on distracting at points, but there are some interesting dynamic shots here. I also like the opening. The movie doesn't hold your hand, letting you know what Daniel's predicament is at first. I have so many questions, and I fully bought in. Who are these people? What's this alien device? What is Daniel trying to expose? Then the movie comes to a screeching halt with Margaret's debut. Her opening scene is more in line with the writing and quality of a family sitcom rather than a blockbuster, and Margaret's scenes throughout pale in comparison to Daniel's. Disclosure Day finds its ground again during the action scenes, specifically the car chase and the train, even if the zeniths of these sequences are both revealed in the movie's trailer. There's a lot of suspension of disbelief the movie forces you to commit, and I was able to chew and swallow. I enjoy these scenes. Even if in the trenches of my heart I recognize some deeper flaws, when there's a train coming towards Margaret and Daniel, there are plenty of cuts to make sure this iron bullet reaches our protagonists at exactly the right time. The train reversed a few times when the camera wasn't looking. Every action movie plays with perspective, but I shouldn't notice it. It's Spielberg! This is the blockbuster man. These are amateur mistakes. Like Daniel walking past Wardex agents in broad daylight while they're looking for him, and none of them noticing. I can look past some of the half-baked action scenes, as long as the story has some meat on its bones. It doesn't. My central problem lies in Disclosure Day's weak characters, lazy plot, and disregard for any rules. For instance, the vibrating alien wand. The introduction to this device's powers lead to my favorite scene in the movie. Wardex uses the alien wand to control Daniel's girlfriend, Jane. Jane has to balance being manipulated by this extraterrestrial device while also trying to protect her boyfriend. Okay, so this wand is used to control people. Not exactly. Sometimes you can control people with it. Sometimes you're able to coexist in two spaces with it. Sometimes it turns just the right amount of people and environments invisible. Sometimes it turns on the electricity and Wi-Fi when it's been cut. The capabilities are inconsistent. So what does this wand do? Whatever the story finds most convenient. It's a great plot device for people who think blue crayons taste better than red crayons, when in actuality, all crayons taste the same. They're all delicious. However, the wand is not an isolated case. At one point, Daniel is standing in a hayfield, and alien signs begin to form all around him. There's no reasoning. Margaret gets alien powers out of nowhere. There's no reasoning, except for, of course, the movie says so. Disclosure Day's characters are flesh bags that carry the plot forward instead of actual people. The worst offenders are Jackson and Jane. Jackson, Margaret's boyfriend, fights with Margaret every step of her journey, but he doesn't affect the story whatsoever. He does not influence any of her decisions. He's characterized by liking music. You can tell because when we meet him, he has a guitar tattoo, and Margaret mentions he plays guitar, and he always has some guitars behind him. And that's his character. He yells at his girlfriend, and supposedly he plays guitar. Margaret leaves him, and then we never see him again for the rest of the movie, except for a brief shot at the end. You're not supposed to connect with him. His screaming dialogue is aggravating, he doesn't have any personality, and he doesn't add to the movie's story. Why is he here? You could make an argument that Jackson and Margaret's relationship is symbolic of personal issues instead of our focus on the real world, and that would be very generous to this movie's intelligence. Jane and Daniel's relationship also unintentionally lacks chemistry. Jane's performance is notably bad. All the performances are, and I give credit to the lifeless writing rather than the actors and actresses themselves. The one exception is the reporter in New York during the climax, but I couldn't even find her name. Disclosure Day adds an earnest conflict to Jane, where she's not sure if this alien torture program should go public or not. As I mentioned, she's then used as a weapon by Wardex to try and kill Daniel. And then this moral dilemma that was the only compelling aspect of Jane's character is never brought up again. But she does disappear halfway through the movie, only to come back during the climax to bring the wand that solves every issue. Daniel and Margaret aren't much better. Daniel is at least driven by wanting to share this government alien torture program, but Margaret's all over the place. She has alien powers, which means she always knows what to say, when bad guys are coming, and where to go. At one point, she breaks into a Wardex base filled with a bunch of people that are trying to kill her. But since her superpower that has no rules lets her do literally anything, there's no problem. There's no reason why she couldn't just do this for every other conflict in the movie. Her motivation as a character is directionless. It begins with her wanting to be a weekday anchor. Then the alien superpower that makes all of her decisions decides she has to go find Daniel. So then she drives for an hour. They drop a truth nuke on you that her dad had Parkinson's, and later on she has a panic attack because of this, and then it doesn't affect the rest of the story at all. Is that the only way you could have gotten audiences to connect with her? I'm not gonna. She's a perfect character with zero flaws. There's not one well-written character in this 2.5 hour long movie. No dialogue that shows any connection, no characterization that actually affects the story, and no motivations that I care about. Almost every struggle is solved by Margaret's powers or the wand that solves everything. Towards the beginning, I felt a little ambiguity about who I could trust. I wasn't sure Daniel was making the right decisions. He works with Hugo and a group of Wardex whistleblowers while fighting against Noah, the head of Wardex. Instead of having any characters with moral complexity, there are the good guys and the bad guys. I would love it if Disclosure Day leaned into us questioning who we can trust, but it's as black and white as it gets. One of my friends brought up how monotonous this movie's formula is. It repeats the cycle of our protagonists running away from Wardex, and then Wardex catches up, so they run away from Wardex, and then Wardex catches up, with little breaks of inconsistent alien technology happening in between. After working for over 40 years, many directors have figured out how to make slop that's derivative of Spielberg's work, which may be why Disclosure Day is so deprived of any personality. The climax is a poster child for what an uninspired mess this movie is. Margaret and Daniel are about to broadcast to the world all of these alien secrets they have, but right as they're about to get started, the power gets cut. But don't worry, the backup generator still works. And right as they're about to spill all of these secrets, the power gets cut. Well, I guess it's all over. Except then Jane, from half a movie ago, brings in the wand that solves everything, which then turns on all the Wi-Fi and power. And then Wardex boss Noah, who tried to kill Daniel a day ago and has presumably spent countless hours and millions of dollars protecting this information from going public, now decides he's gonna give up. So he sits in a chair and watches. I thought that they were a serious government agency. They have a room with a bunch of computers on the wall, just like every other important government agency. Why does Noah feel compelled to hold back these alien files? And why does he decide to give up? We don't get an explanation, not even a brief, "It's my job." Hugo's motivation makes a lot more sense. He hates torture. Also, the CGI animals look terrible. Go figure. Disclosure Day is an exploration of alien conspiracies rooted in American history. The alien torture might be a reference to our government's torture programs. During this movie, World War III begins, but it's more of a background noise than anything else. There might be a message buried about how it's human nature to attack what we see, even if we can't comprehend it. Or maybe it's just a surface level look at how different communities would respond to aliens. Hence the nuns. I'm trying to look at this from any angle that proves Disclosure Day has something to say. But if nothing else in this movie is thought out, I doubt this movie's takeaways are any different. If you can turn off your brain for 2 hours and 25 minutes, it's fine. But there are so many deeply embedded issues that are impossible to look past. There were 42 drafts of this movie, and they landed on this. It genuinely breaks my heart that there was this much time and money put into a creative project, and this was the result. I've been critical of Spielberg in the past, but this is without a doubt the most disappointing movie I've seen that's come out this year. 3 out of 10.